Welcome to the Power Book of Podcasts. Unlock your potential with powerful book summaries that inspire personal growth and broaden your understanding of the world. Each week, we explore life-changing ideas, from leadership to mindset strategies to keys for happiness and success. Learn actionable insights to apply in your daily life. Join our growing community of thinkers and seekers. Like, comment, and hit that subscribe button now. It's time to supercharge your mind with the Power Book of Podcasts.
All right, let's dive into numerology today.
Okay.
We're looking at The Secret Science of Numerology, The Hidden Meaning of Numbers and Letters by Shirley Blackwell Lawrence.
Interesting title.
Yeah.
Secret Science.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what secrets are hidden in numbers and letters, right? So we'll try to uncover those.
That's good.
And, one thing that really struck me is how Lawrence frames numerology as this, ancient wisdom, and she even goes back to Pythagoras.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And his idea that
Pythagoras.
Yeah. Numbers are the building blocks of the universe.
I think that's a really common theme that you see in a lot of different spiritual traditions.
Yeah. It's
not just Lawrence's book, but
it's like math. It's like a fundamental part of the way the universe is structured.
Yeah. And so by understanding numbers, we can kind of unlock an understanding of the universe.
It's like a secret code.
Exactly.
Right. So what did you think about the way Lawrence connects these ancient ideas with some modern scientific research?
Well, that was the part that I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, she even mentions the thought recorder and that kind of stuff.
That part I wasn't sure what to make of, to be honest.
Yeah.
It seems like she's drawing on a lot of sources that, maybe don't quite hold up to the scrutiny of modern science.
Yeah. So
it's an interesting thought.
Yeah. Should we take everything with a grain of salt then?
I think it's okay to be a little skeptical.
Yeah.
But I think even if we're approaching it with a critical mind, there's still a lot of value in exploring these ideas.
Okay.
Even if, not every single scientific claim is 100% accurate.
So it's more about the symbolism and the deeper meaning behind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So one of the things that really jumped out at me was this idea that letters have just as much meaning as numbers.
Yes.
Right. And she brings in Kabbalah, which...
Oh, the Kabbalah, that's where it gets really interesting.
It gets really good.
Because that's where it kind of all comes together.
Yeah, and she talks about how in Hebrew, the letters and numbers are interchangeable.
Right.
They represent these different...
energy and
vibrations.
Yeah.
And for example, Aleph, she talks about how that symbolizes physical generation.
It's interesting, that ox head analogy, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit out there.
It's a little out there.
That's what makes you think.
Yeah, it makes you think, okay, but so if Aleph symbolizes physical generation, does that mean everyone with an A in their name is...
Oh, no, it's not that simple.
Okay.
We'll get into the personal numerology later on.
Okay.
But it's not about
yeah,
you have this letter in your name, so you're destined for this.
Right.
It's more about...
It's more about tendencies and potentials.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's like a framework, but it's not...
It's not a crystal ball.
It's not a set destiny.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So before we get into the personal numerology part,
yes,
I want to go back to the Kabbalah a little bit.
Okay.
Because you mentioned the Tree of Life.
Yes, the Tree of Life.
That sounds really complicated.
It is complicated.
Yeah.
But it's also incredibly fascinating.
Okay.
It's basically like a symbolic map of the universe.
Okay.
And it shows how this divine energy, right, flows from the spiritual realm down into the physical world.
Okay.
So there are these four worlds that she describes.
Okay.
Atziluth, which is like pure spirit.
Okay.
Then Braya, the world of mind.
Okay.
And Yetzirah, the realm of the soul.
Uh-huh.
And then finally, Asaya, which is the physical world that we experience.
So it's like a blueprint for...
Exactly. Like a blueprint for creation.
Yeah.
With each world representing a different stage of manifestation.
Okay, so she ties this back to numerology, right?
Yes.
Oh.
By associating specific numbers and Sephiroth on the Tree of Life with different organs in the human body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's all interconnected.
It's all interconnected.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Yeah.
But how does this actually help us, in a practical sense?
Well, it's I guess you could say it's a framework for understanding the journey of our soul.
Okay.
From the purest spiritual essence down into physical form.
Okay.
And each Sephirah on the tree it represents a different aspect of our being.
Okay.
And by looking at the numbers that are associated with those, you can gain insights into your strengths and weaknesses and areas for growth.
So it's almost like using the tree of life as like a mirror.
Precisely.
To reflect on.
Like a mirror into our own inner landscape.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And so by understanding these patterns, we can maybe potentially unlock our hidden potential and cultivate greater self-awareness.
Okay.
That's the idea. Anyway.
That sounds pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it's fascinating.
It is. Yeah.
So now it's getting to the part that I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
Where Lawrence talks about how numerology applies to like you and me.
Right.
Like to our own lives.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've talked about all this big picture stuff.
Yeah.
Now let's bring it down to the personal level.
Right. She talks about our names and birth dates.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Like calculating our...
Yeah, there are those calculations, right?
Yeah, our soul's urge and our...
Your soul's urge, your personality number.
Personality number.
And your birth path.
Yeah, the birth path.
Yeah, she breaks down each one of those.
Yeah, she uses a name as an example.
Right.
And shows how you calculate it, which is...
Makes it a lot easier to follow.
Yeah, it's helpful.
But I'm curious about something.
Okay.
You know, she mentions these variations and debates within numerology.
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so while Lawrence presents, like, her interpretation, right?
No.
There are other schools of thought, different, numerologists who have slightly different approaches.
Oh, interesting.
And one example she gives is the letter Y.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's a vowel or a consonant.
Oh, yeah.
That can actually make a big difference.
Oh, wow.
In your numerological calculations.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So it's not
like a
just one right way.
Yeah, like a formula.
Right, exactly.
There's room for
It's not like baking a cake. It's more like,
Okay.
Yeah.
So Lawrence actually acknowledges that.
Yeah.
She mentions Matthew Oliver Goodwin.
Right.
And how he's contributed.
Another numerologist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she seems to, respect his work.
Yeah.
Even though it might differ from her own.
That's good that she's open to other perspectives.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's important. I mean, it's not about being right or wrong.
Right.
It's about
exploration.
Yeah, and finding what resonates.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
So that actually makes me think about this
Yeah.
other part where she talks about words having vibrations.
Oh, yeah.
And like negative words can poison your breath.
Yeah.
That's a little out there.
That's a pretty bold statement. I'm not sure if there's...
I've always thought that words have power.
I think there's something to be said for the power of words, for sure.
But
like our language, how we communicate, it can definitely have an impact.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, words can hurt.
It can hurt, it can heal.
Or they can heal.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe there's something to that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something to that, even if it's not literally like poisoning our breath.
Right. So it's like she brings in this research about thought measuring.
Right. But again, I think some of that might be a little questionable.
Yeah. Maybe we can be open to the idea.
Yeah, I think it's okay to be open to the idea.
Yeah.
Without necessarily taking it as gospel truth.
Yeah, okay.
It's
like be mindful of the words that you use.
Exactly. Be mindful.
Especially
when you're in those emotionally charged situations.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, like words can really escalate things.
Yes.
Or they can de-escalate things.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so she talks about this keynote idea.
Oh, yeah.
And
the personal keynote.
Yeah, a specific tone.
Yeah, like a tone that resonates with you.
Yeah.
Right.
With your energy field.
Yeah. And, that ties back to this idea of the music of the spheres.
Right.
Like this ancient concept that the universe is this harmonious symphony.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of beautiful, actually.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful metaphor.
Yeah.
And
I wonder if there's...
I think there is some evidence to suggest that certain frequencies can actually affect us physically and emotionally.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
So, she connects this to music.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how she, tied the letter names.
Right, the letters and the note.
To their vibrations.
Like this hidden language, right?
Yeah, it's like a hidden language of vibration.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's cool.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to go back to something that we briefly talked about.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested to hear more about it.
Sure.
Which is this idea of the fourth dimension.
Oh, yeah.
This unseen realm.
That unseen realm where thought forms exist.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely
more to reality.
It's definitely a mind-bending concept.
Than what we see.
Yeah.
Like with our five senses.
Right.
You know.
So, whether we take that literally or metaphorically,
Yeah.
it's challenging us to expand our perception of what's possible.
And she talks about like...
And she even says that we've all had glimpses of it.
Yeah, those moments where you see something.
Like out of the corner of your eye.
Out of the corner of your eye, and then...
There's nothing there.
Yeah.
It's like
And it's like...
you caught a fleeting glimpse of something beyond the ordinary.
Yeah, it's freaky.
It is a little freaky.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of exciting, right?
Yeah, because it's like...
Yeah.
Maybe there's something more.
Maybe there is more.
Than
what we can currently comprehend with our limited senses and our limited understanding.
Okay, and she also talks about the power of thought.
Oh, yeah, the power of thought, absolutely.
Like thoughts have vibrations.
Yeah, and that
can affect our health.
That idea is becoming more and more accepted.
Really?
Yeah, like in the field of, mind-body medicine.
Okay.
There's a growing body of research showing that our thoughts and emotions really do have an impact on our physical health.
So it's not just woo-woo stuff.
It's not just woo-woo stuff.
Okay. What kind of research is there?
Well, there's, studies on the placebo effect.
Okay.
Where people's beliefs can actually influence their healing.
Interesting.
And then there's research on, stress and how chronic stress can weaken the immune system.
Right.
So, I think it's safe to say that our thoughts and emotions do have an impact on our physical well-being.
And she talks about like negative thoughts.
Yeah.
Contributing to disease.
And positive thoughts.
Yeah.
Contributing to healing.
It's like if you tell yourself you're sick.
Right.
You're going to be sick.
And if you tell yourself you're healthy.
Yeah.
You're more likely to be healthy.
But how much of that is like just...
Well, it's a complex interplay.
Yeah.
Of, mind, body, and spirit.
And she even ties this back to music again.
Oh, yeah.
She says like specific tones can resonate with our bodies.
Yeah, like sound healing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an ancient idea that's making a comeback.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And this keynote thing.
Yeah, your personal keynote.
That's wild.
It's like your own personal theme song.
Yeah.
Right?
That vibrates with your energy field.
Yeah.
It's like we each have our own musical signature.
It's kind of beautiful, actually.
It is, yeah. Okay, so I'm seeing how all these things connect.
It all ties to
like numbers, letters, all intricate. Music, the fourth dimension, vibrations.
Like a whole new way of seeing the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I'm starting to think maybe there's more to this numerology thing.
Yeah, I think so too. It's easy to dismiss it.
Yeah.
But when you really delve into it, it's pretty fascinating.
Okay, and she talks about this Hebrew letter number system.
Yeah, the Hebrew alphabet is really interesting.
Yeah, she gives that example of sword being an anagram for words.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's a good one.
Represents the power of spoken thoughts.
Yeah, it's like
kind of cool.
Your words can be like a weapon.
Yeah.
Or they can be like, a tool for healing. So she really dives deep into the etymology of language.
Yeah, and she talks about how the shape of letters,
right?
Like M resembling a wave.
Yeah, like the element of water and motherhood.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like
C is an open mouth.
Right, like communicate.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
So
people with a prominent C.
Symbolism, right. And how these symbols.
Good communicators.
Yeah, can manifest in our lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've talked about numbers, letters, vibrations, music.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
The fourth dimension.
It's a lot to process.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But it's all connected.
But how do we actually use this in our lives?
Right. That's the big question.
Like, what do we do with all this information?
Well, that's where...
Once we've, calculated our numbers.
That's where the personal numerology comes in.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So she has a whole section on how to calculate your soul's urge, your personality number, your birth path.
And then what?
And then, she gives you interpretations.
Oh, okay.
Of what those numbers mean for you.
And how does that help us?
Well, it can help you understand your strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
Your purpose in life.
Okay.
It's like a tool for self-discovery.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's not about telling you what to do.
Right, exactly.
It's about
giving you information.
Giving you insights.
So you can make informed choices.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's not about fate.
Yeah.
It's about empowerment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so
Sorry.
we talked about the tree of life.
Yes, the tree of life. It all comes back to the tree of life.
How does that,
Yeah.
how does she connect that to personal numerology?
So each sephira on the tree of life
Yeah.
represents different qualities and potentials within us.
Oh. Okay.
And so by understanding
Yeah.
the symbolism of those sephiroth
Yeah.
and the numbers that are associated with them,
Okay.
you can gain a deeper understanding of yourself,
Oh.
your strengths,
Yeah.
your weaknesses, your areas for growth.
And like, for example, Sleepereth.
Tifereth, yeah.
How, number
But
6.
how would we use that?
So Tifereth is all about balance,
Right?
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're feeling out of balance in your life.
You know, maybe you're struggling with indecision
Yeah.
or inner conflict.
Yeah.
Exploring Tifereth
Yeah.
can give you some guidance
Okay.
on how to bring those opposing forces within yourself into harmony.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
So it's not just about interpreting the number.
Yeah.
It's about using those interpretations
Yeah.
to make positive changes
Okay.
in your life.
So it's an active.
It's an active process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not passive.
It's not just about,
All right.
getting your fortune told.
Yeah.
It's about using this information
Okay.
to empower yourself.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we've covered a lot of ground here
We have.
with the Secret Science of Numerology.
It's a dense book.
And, I'm starting to see numerology in a different light.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
like I had a lot of preconceived notions.
Yeah. I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
They think it's just like fortune telling or something.
Yeah. But it's so much more than that.
Okay. So
Exactly.
even if someone doesn't believe in like the literal truth of it,
Right.
it can be.
It can still be a valuable tool for
Yeah.
self-reflection.
Yeah.
For exploring your own
Yeah.
inner landscape.
I agree.
Yeah.
It makes you think about
It
things.
makes you question your assumptions.
Yeah.
And explore different perspectives.
Okay. So
Yeah.
last question.
Okay.
Does Lawrence tell us how to actually
Yeah.
apply this stuff?
Well, that's a great question.
What do we do with it?
And that's what we'll be talking about in the next part of our deep dive.
Oh, okay.
So you'll have to stay tuned for that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Because she does give some practical advice
Okay.
on how to use numerology
Okay.
for self-improvement, decision-making,
Okay.
understanding relationships.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah. So we'll get into all of that
Okay.
in the next part.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
All right. So we've explored a lot of the theory behind numerology.
Yeah, the symbolism, the history.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But I'm ready to get practical.
Me too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how we actually use this stuff.
Right. Like, what do we do with all these numbers and calculations?
Exactly, because Lawrence does give some real concrete advice.
Okay. Good.
It's not just theory.
So it's not about, like, our numbers dictating our destiny?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's more about empowerment.
Okay. I like that.
Using numerology as a tool to understand ourselves better.
So what kind of advice does she give?
Well, for example, she talks about how understanding your soul's urge
Right.
can help you figure out your passions, maybe even find the right career path.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's about aligning your work with your inner purpose.
Okay. And what about the personality number?
That one can give you insight into how you come across to others,
Oh, okay.
like your communication style.
So it's kind of like using numerology for self-improvement.
Exactly.
Does she give, like, real-life examples?
She does, yeah.
Okay, like what?
Well, someone with a strong soul's urge of 3, for instance,
Okay.
might be drawn to creative fields, like writing or music,
Makes sense.
while someone with a dominant personality number of 8 might be a natural leader.
Oh, okay. So it's about recognizing those tendencies.
Yeah, not about saying you have to be one thing or another.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's just about understanding yourself better.
Yeah, I get it.
And then there's the birth path number.
Right. That one's about your overall purpose.
Exactly. It's like a roadmap for your life journey.
But we still get to choose where we go.
Of course, we always have free will.
Okay, good.
Numerology just gives us some guidance along the way.
So how does the tree of life fit into all this?
Well, remember how each sephira represents different qualities?
Yeah.
By understanding those and their associated numbers, we can learn about ourselves.
Like with Tifereth and balance.
Exactly.
How do we actually, like, apply that to our lives?
Well, if you're feeling out of balance, maybe indecisive,
Yeah.
you could look to the lessons of Tifereth.
Oh.
Find ways to create harmony, maybe through meditation or a creative expression.
So it's not just about interpreting numbers, it's about using them to change.
Exactly. That's what makes it empowering.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that.
It's not passive. It's about taking action.
So numerology can even help with relationships.
Lawrence says it can.
How so?
Well, she believes you can look at the numerological compatibility between people.
Oh, interesting.
Get a sense of the relationship dynamics.
So it's not about finding the perfect match.
No, it's about understanding the energy between people.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, using numerology to build stronger connections.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive.
I agree.
I really learned a lot.
Me too. I always enjoy exploring these kinds of topics.
Yeah, it's made me think about numerology in a whole new way.
It's easy to dismiss it, but there's real depth there.
I agree. And even if you don't believe everything, it's thought-provoking.
Absolutely. It makes you look at the world differently.
And that's what we're all about, right? Exploring new ideas.
Exactly. Questioning our assumptions, expanding our perspectives.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed it too.
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, and if your name were a number, what kind of vibration would it have? Think about that.
Let us know.
And keep exploring the world of numerology.